All right, we have a lot of clips today, so we're going to jump right into them. First off, there aren't a lot of things on the road that can beat a bus in a fight, but this bus fails to yield while turning left and meets one of those things. Pretty good impact there, but no injuries that we're aware of. And this is a USPS truck making a right turn that the bus collided with. Next up, we've got two vehicles going through a red light. The first one makes it through okay. The second vehicle, not so much. Here we have two vehicles approaching a red light. The pickup truck is not slowing down until the last minute. They collide with a vehicle and then turn it into a hit and run. Thankfully, I was able to get this footage to the victim driver, even though it wasn't good enough to see the license plate. SUV here approaching a red light. They brake briefly, but decide to go through anyway and collide. You have a pedestrian running out of the way. Thankfully, no serious injuries. White car here on the left, high speeds. Again, this was a red light running crash. Surprisingly, no serious injuries. Seattle Fire briefly showed up, but they left pretty quickly and it didn't appear anyone was transported. Same intersection here and same situation. You have a pickup truck coming from the left that's going to just blow through their red light and collide, flipping over in the intersection and ending up upside down on the shoulder. Again, thankfully, no serious injuries. None of the clips featured today had any serious injuries that I'm aware of. Pedestrian jaywalking here in the center of your screen. Thankfully, the vehicle sees them and stops in time, but the vehicle behind them does not, and that becomes a rear-end collision. On the bottom right side of your screen, we've got someone that just drifts into a tree, creates a nice little rain shower, so we're going to watch that again in slow motion. Not sure if they were texting on their phone, possibly a medical emergency. Similar situation here. SUV off the side of the road and into a utility pole. Gives the camera a nice little shake to get the dust off of the lens. Here we have two cars that are trying to beat a yellow light and narrowly missing pedestrians there on the sidewalk. This is a scary situation. That could have been a lot worse. Turns through traffic often turn out badly. You got this white car in the center screen, not seeing a vehicle already in the center turn lane. Looks like that vehicle almost hit a third vehicle but didn't. Here again, we're turning through stopped traffic without a view of all lanes, and there's a collision in the bus lane / turn lane. And one more time, we have a van cutting through stopped traffic. They think they can make it, but got that lane that you can't see. That means it's often better to turn right and go around the block. In Lake City here, someone trying to cross 5 lanes of traffic. The camera's a little bit glitchy, but they cross 1, 2, 3. Someone in that number 4 lane is going to slow, but now we have a 3-vehicle collision, 2 involved plus a parked car. Another left turner here. Not sure why this collision happened, as their view was clear. They maybe just forgot you have to yield. Car here is going to attempt to make a U-turn, but instead it looks like they just drive into oncoming traffic. Head-on collision, thankfully slow speeds, and again, no serious injuries that we're aware of. Similar situation here. We have a car drifting across the center line and a low-speed head-on collision. Center of the screen here, we're going to have a vehicle in the Safeway parking lot that appears to have mixed up the gas and the brake, because they go full send through a tree, parked car, and into a building. Again, this could have been much worse if people had been on the sidewalk on either side of the road here, or if anybody had been inside that building where the car came into it. Here on Aurora Avenue, we have a vehicle trying to enter the flow of traffic. They come a little bit too wide and send a Tesla up on 2 wheels. We're going to watch that again a little bit zoomed in here. So the SUV pulls out too far and almost sends that Tesla flipped over. And that's another Tesla off the road. Here again, car trying to enter traffic, but cutting it a little bit too wide. A much less dramatic collision here. Now watch this Jeep. They're gonna pull out onto the 45th Street Viaduct. They're going pretty slow, so the car behind them goes around them just as they try to make a U-turn from the right lane, which ends in a collision. Move on to the Ballard Bridge now at the bottom of your screen. Again, we have an attempted U-turn from the right lane right into the path of traffic in the left lane. This driver is going to pull partly off the road. They're going to get some things out of the back seat, and then they're just going to take off on foot. The driver of the victim vehicle sees this happen, decides to abandon their car in the middle of the road and also take off on foot after the driver of the hit and run vehicle. So there's the Ballard Bridge, mostly blocked. And traffic is going to stay mostly blocked until Good Samaritans come and help move both the gray SUV and the black SUV out of the road. Kudos to them for clearing the roadway. Back to the Ballard Bridge, again, the bottom right side of your screen. Got this vehicle that comes in a little hot, overcorrects, and winds up on the concrete barrier. And on that barrier, they will stay for the rest of the night, or at least until a tow truck comes to get them off. Now, of course, we don't want to give all the attention to the Ballard Bridge, so here's the Fremont Bridge. Got someone changing lanes to get out of this stopped traffic, but they forget to check their blind spot and collide with another vehicle. So now they're stuck much longer than they would have been had they just waited in traffic. And West Seattle Bridge, hard to see, but at the top of the screen we have a vehicle looking like they lose control. They hit this yellow taxi cab. A pretty minor impact, but now we have a blocking collision at the West Seattle Bridge. Another taxi cab here. This one failing to stop at a red light and rear-ending the vehicle in front of them. And another rear end here. We have a red car. It's going to be coming in pretty hot as they enter the turn lane. We're going to switch cameras. Watch the right side of your screen. And that's a collision. Have a little bit of the aftermath captured on the first camera again, after that camera was maneuvered by SDOT to view the screen. Somebody standing on the light rail tracks, which you never like to see. Now here's a clip from South Seattle where a vehicle is entering traffic. They clip another vehicle. That vehicle goes into the utility pole, and the causing vehicle again flees the scene. Another downtown clip here. We have a car that stopped at a red light and then decides to go anyway. They're hit by two different cars. Hopefully they have more than the state minimum liability for insurance, because that's going to cost them. Another red light here. We have a SUV not even slowing down, collides with another vehicle as they go through that red light. Same intersection here. We have a car that's behind the bus that's preparing to stop. The car does not want to get stuck behind the bus, but they forget to check for semi-trucks as they change lanes. They get sandwiched in between the bus and the semi-truck. This could have been a lot worse. Thankfully, it looks like there were no major injuries. Here's a zoomed-in replay. See that car change lanes right into the truck and then end up squished between the two vehicles. Here's the aftermath of that collision. Here's another truck, this one taking a corner a little bit fast, and their load shifts, and over they go. That looked painful, but everybody got out, and again, there did not appear to be any injuries. This next one, there's a glitch in the traffic camera, so it skips ahead, and it skips right to a collision. So we're not sure what happened here because we only caught the tail end of it. It didn't appear to be too major. Another glitch here, we have a car preparing to make a left turn onto Lander Street and a pickup truck moving fast. The camera cuts out, and now we see the car is collided and the driver is fleeing on foot off the left side of the screen here. More glitchy clip here. We have an RV protruding out into the road, an SUV that's maybe not paying quite enough attention. They clip that RV, it swings them around into the other lane. Luckily, other drivers are paying attention and are able to maneuver around without another collision. Here's a distant clip that was still interesting. You have a Seattle police SUV responding with their lights on, but oncoming traffic can't see them around a stopped truck, and they are struck by a pickup. Again, thankfully, only minor injuries here. I believe the officer was taken to the hospital to be checked out, but nothing major. Our last clip, we have the quintessential Seattle combination, wet roads and high speeds. It's going to send this car right into a fixed sign. This looks like it could have been a pretty nasty crash. Thankfully, the driver seemed to be just fine. In fact, they were feeling well enough that not only did they get out of the car, they decided to go for a little jog away from the car into the woods. So that is the last clip for the night. I hope that you enjoyed this collection, showing some common scenarios that lead to crashes on Seattle streets. Maybe you can see some things that you can do in your own driving to be safer moving forward.